Okay, in Islam, we put them both together. Yeah? Why? Because characteristic and behavior is not something we can measure 1400 years down the line. Yeah? Because the Prophet was 1400 years ago. We can't measure his behavior, his characteristics and stuff like this. So that's why, because Islam, we claim it's for everybody, all encompassing. Therefore, it is important that we have a yardstick, a pH test, a litmus test that people can measure down the line. Yeah, academics can measure. Yeah, kids can understand, adults can understand, and it's not reliant on an abstract thing like behavior and characteristics, which is very difficult to measure. You just have to take somebody's word for it. So we're saying we put them both together, so a rational person can come and they can critique the text, because your behavior and your characteristics is reliant upon the text. Yeah, because it's the text that's being preached. You go to the church, the Bible is being read. Whenever somebody does a specific act, they quote the Bible. It's not the other way around.
Great what you're saying, great what you're saying. And I could say there's one point where you're saying that it's obviously the text, you put everything put here, right? So showing you, for you to have a community, right? That community is based on behavior, firstly. So the information that you give the community would change the behavior of that community. So if you only get a certain amount of information, you would have that community will have a certain amount of behavior. So that's why, you know, there is different understanding of different communities and how they are ranked. So that's what I mean. So the information that someone might be reading, right, it could be limited to their behavior. That's why I mentioned the Prophet had, again, his behavior characteristics is proven through his community, his family members that could identify to say that, okay, he was a military man, he was an upstanding, because they seen it for themselves, they use their whole senses instead of something that is being written down. That's why even to this day, you know, there's certain people that are trying to uphold that standard in society, and they've seen that it's very hard, you understand, to uphold that society, because they're only reading the actual context.
How do you know that what they've said about character and behavior is correct?
Because it is recorded more than one place, right? It is more. I could ask not just you, but I could go to Saudi Arabia, I could go to Mecca and ask these people about, and they will tell you, yeah, he's an upstanding man. He was in this place. This is his family. So it's a base of a character, behavior, and all these things.
Okay. Yeah. So what would you say about the character and behavior of Siddhartha, also known as Buddha? Was he a good man or was he a bad man?
See, I would have to find more information about that.
From what you've read, did he cause mischief, and was he calling people to do harm, or was he calling people to meditate? So did you want to say something?
You're talking about the Buddha.
The Buddha, yeah.
Yeah. The Buddha showed people to be compassionate to every person.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Buddha says there is no God. You are God.
Exactly, yeah.
You are God.
Precisely.
And you choose your own destiny.
Yeah.
So in Buddhism, you will try and do good, but there is no God. So I don't know what they have.
Yeah, they don't believe in organized religion, and in fact they don't even believe that Buddha was God. So Lancer, no, you can interrupt. This is initially your and plus we're okay. We're not shooting anyone down or anything. We're just having a nice conversation. So based upon what Victor says and the textbooks and our understanding of Buddha, he didn't, go around killing people. He wasn't somebody that was causing harm to people. Same with Guru Nanak of the Sikhs. He wasn't a bad man. Yeah. So he had character. He was upstanding. He was a good person. People can verify. You can go to different countries. They'll verify that. Would you now accept him?
That he's a good man?
No, that he is a leader of a religion or a prophet.
For his community, I could say, look, he has a community.
No, for you as well.
For me, I could acknowledge that he done something good enough to raise up a community. Of course, that would be a natural thing. If someone go and build a school, you're not gonna be like,
no, but
because he didn't build a school, he does. You know what I mean? You're rating up an individual by what he does. You know what I'm saying? Not what he says.
Okay.
Because everyone, like I say, have different way of expressing themselves. So
Okay.
you have to see what the person do first.
Okay.
Understand, sir?
Yeah, I do. So if people
behavior.
if people say he was good, if people say he was righteous, he had wisdom, and then he says, I'm a prophet, follow me. There's no reason for you not to follow him. So my question
There's more detail, there's more information which would
how
make
would you
him
get that information?
based on what, that's what I'm saying, based on a chain, based on
Based
the
on
behavior
text,
of people
yeah?
that text.
So-
Because I said text is a part of the same people, because the text that you're reading as in a descriptive, because there is a real object that you're writing the text based on. It's not just fairy tale. It's like real. That's why you could identify there's a prophet. Because it's a real human being. It's a part of your inheritance, of our inheritance, for everyone inheritance, to see that human character can have a high standards in society, and as a high standards to be a prophet, to be even a god, you understand, or whatever the level of standards that you can observe tangible is. You understand? Because it's a tangible thing.
On what criteria would you say Sikhism is wrong?
And what criteria? I would have to look into it more. That's what I'm
Sikhism?
saying.
Yeah.
Sikhism, the Sikh religion is one of the oldest religions in the Punjab. They are warriors, right? And what they do, they're beautiful people, I'm telling you, because you go
I
to
love
their
Sikhs.
temple,
They're amazing people.
you can eat food, you can eat all their food.
Is that
and
the
you can
criteria, Victor? Yeah.
And you
You
can
come to
go
my house
there,
today.
You can go in their temple and and worship the way they worship, but even though you don't know, because they believe in the book. I don't know what it's called. They believe that
Guru Granth Sahib.
that it's alive, and they take it to bed and they look after it. And because when I'm sitting there, I said, "What's this guy doing this for?"
Yeah.
No, he's blessing the book.
They're removing the flies.
Because the original guru in the Sikh religion, Guru Nanak,
Yes.
he was lifted up into heaven. He I don't know where, in the Punjab, he came in the presence of God, and he came down and everyone said, this man is wise, and so on. Every Sikh has a warrior, so they follow that certain person. So like Buddhism, where the Buddha said, I can tell you a story where where a man says to Buddha, said, is there a God? And Buddha says, there is no God. And the man says, I believe, Buddha, I believe in God, am I right? And the Buddha says, there is a God. And one of his followers said, you just told him there isn't a God, and he said there is a God. But Buddha told him, it's up to the person. If it makes him good, then let him believe that God makes him good. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's
No.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Because when you look at Buddhism, everyone thinks I wouldn't say it's a religion. I'd say it's a way of life. It's
I agree with you.
very
I agree with you.
But there's a lot of
Buddhism
pagan-
actually doesn't claim to be a religion. They don't even believe in a god.
You and me are gods, and we
According
make
to
our own
Buddha, yeah.
destiny.
Yeah.
You know.
Enlightenment.
Yeah.
So then my criteria was
Sorry
this.
about that.
No, of
Go
course.
on, I'm
Yeah. So the criteria is this. For us, anybody can come along and say, yeah, I'm God, or we've got a religion. You have to look at what they're saying. You have to analyze their scriptures and their text and the evidence they're bringing. That's what I'm saying, Lancelot. Yeah, I know you're. Yeah, and I think, look, Lancelot, this is very important. Yeah, the fact that I was able to stand here, give you chains like it's nothing. Yeah, tell you that now we have a part of the Quran which dates back to the time of the Prophet, and it's not preserved in some Muslim country. It's in this country. It's in Birmingham. The University of Birmingham has the oldest codex. It's a fragment that dates all the way to the time of the Prophet. No Christian can make this claim that they have a piece of the Bible that dates back all the way to Jesus. That's what I'm saying. So in terms of...
Well, like I say...
do you?
There's old text.
At time of Jesus.
There is old text that has been preserved. Like the Ethiopic book.
It doesn't go to the time of Jesus.
It's very old.
It is very old, you're right, but it doesn't go to the time of Jesus.
True, because like even like I say, it's based on those his community and the people that are around him that is, you know, laying down that message. And the same for, like I say, Islam as well. It's the people that are around him that is collecting these texts and putting it together. So there is that element of collection. There is that element of, you understand.
But Lancelot, when it comes to Islam,
it's still
yeah, it happened at the time of the Prophet. He was overseeing the writing down of the Quran, the verification of the Quran, and the fragment. In fact, the whole Quran had been written down before the Prophet had passed away. Then it was collated by Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, and then later it was put in order. Yeah. But my point, Lancelot, is exactly this. That when it comes to, this is what Victor was talking about as well. You cannot make this claim about the New Testament.
No, I don't really subscribe to the New Testament.
Oh, you don't accept the New Testament?
Not
as verbatim word of God.
Only in terms of what is being remembered.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Because it's still just like the Quran. It's still a confirmation of things that happen. You understand?
You know when you say just like the Quran,
but it's a confirmation itself. So
Quran,
it's not confirmation, no?
The confirmation, I agree with the confirmation bit.
But it's a confirmation, right?
But what you're implying, which is that they're both on a similar kind of playing field, I would disagree with that.
The reason why, because there was an offer before that. There has been an offer. There has been a chain of authorization of God's word.
Yeah,
you understand?
Okay.
And that chain starts from Moses.
I think I've got that now. But okay, I've understood your point, which I think you made before, but maybe I misunderstood it.
We're helping each other.
Yeah, but Lancelot, what's very important that you've said, I think you'll agree as well, which is, so you're saying that, okay, you've got the Quran, which then before the Quran was the New Testament, before that was the Old Testament, before that was the Psalms, and so on. Yeah, then the Book of David and all that.
So it's a chain of narration, there's a chain of authorities that uphold that one understanding.
We say every single book in that chain is weak.
Say that?
Yeah, fabricated and changed.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah, and in fact, to such a degree, because I've come in the park after a long time. This is actually at the end of the Book of John. Yeah, there's big discussion and debate that the end of the Book of John has been added in. It's not in the old codexes. It simply does not exist. In fact, the Trinitarian verse simply does not exist. The story of Jesus, where they came to him and brought an adulteress forward, and then this story is used, and then Jesus, peace be upon him, supposedly said, "Oh, let you who are pure cast the first stone." Yeah, and people say that this is a very...
He that without sin first cast the first stone.
Sorry?
That's what Jesus said. He that's without sin...
Without sin.
First cast the first stone.
But the old codexes don't have this. This is something that's been added in. Yeah, and most Christian authorities accept this anyway. Yeah, that's why even in the preface, you follow the King James, you read the King James version, isn't it?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, so I'll request you...
I don't follow the King James.
Yeah, no problem. So, you accept it?
Not every part.
Okay, brilliant.
Because it's a version.
Okay,
just
appreciate
like there's certain... Understand, there's versions of a lot of... So that's why you have to...
That was my point. You made my point for me.
You have to research. You have to do things with authority.
Okay.
Not scholarly, but with authority. So knowing that there is a chain of authority, so you have to, because you want to get things right. You want to make sure that your behavior is right.
Yeah.
So you have to follow the authority. And
so Lancelot, it brings me back to this initial point. We don't have, according to a Christian, we don't have the original text. We have the rough meaning of the text. We know things have been added in and taken out. Yeah. How do you know what you believe and follow is not something that's been added in or taken out. For example, I'll give you an example.
I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah. So there's an example that says that if you are a true believer, you can drink poison and it's not going to affect you, or you can speak in tongues. This verse, Christian scholars actually say, is an interpolation. It's added in. It's not in the old manuscripts. So how can you tell if you're solely depending on just an abstract tradition that it's behavior is characteristic, what behavior that we've learned? How do you know if something has been corrupted or not? How can you measure it?
But that's what I'm saying. There are tangibilities, throughout the first authorization. The first word. There are people, there are groups, there are communities that still exist even to this day. That shows it within their words, within their behavior.
Are there loads of communities? Yeah.
There is.
Can you give me one?
Just like I say, we have like I said, we have the Westminster Abbey. Go there and you see.
About family, which family?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'll even show you my family. That's what I'm saying. I am the champion
I can
of
show you my family as well.
but the reason why I could go and find it in the Book of Remembrance, is what I'm trying to say. I could go and find.
Okay, you keep mentioning the Book of Remembrance. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake, you got the Bible, yeah? You open up the Bible, Book of Genesis. What chain can you give me for the Book of Genesis?
What chain? Oh, within.
Because that's the first.
Yeah, no, but it's all of the chain. It's like, because it's Genesis, it's generation. So it's your generation.
Loud salah.
No, but it makes sense, doesn't it? That's what I'm saying. If you only look at the words other than the behavior, it's going to be hard to fathom, because.
So there's no chain, you'd admit that, yeah? For the Genesis chapter.
What? There's no change in Genesis 1?
No,
chain, like a chain of narration, of preservation.
Obviously, there has to be a chain. There is Adam, there is Seth, there is Enoch, there is.
Okay. But what you do when I say chain is you go to generational chain.
Yeah, because I'm taking it a bit more further than just words.
You can't do that.
I'm taking it to it's a behavior.
Let me give you an example. Yeah?
Remember, it's based on the person's information to say what another person. Because remember, it's only based on the information you have given.
Yeah.
That's why I could say, this person cannot become a king, but it's only based on the information that I have received.
Let me give you an example.
Everyone can become anything.
Yeah. Let me give you an example.
It's a part of life.
Maybe I wasn't clear. Yeah. Okay. So I heard from this brother. Yeah. This brother heard from him. He heard from him. He heard from you. Who heard from you? Yeah. So here onwards is a lineage of the Prophet. There onwards is a lineage of Jesus, yeah? And then, of course, you got the Prophet that came before him, yeah? What I'm saying is, I can tell you exactly, I heard from him, A, from B, from C, D, and E. What you're saying is, you, A, heard from E. So,
there is that. Like
your
I said,
chain.
we have to sit down.
Let me just make this.
More. You have to sit down and get
of
into
course,
more detail.
no problem.
That is, so you can't go from A to Z.
Yeah. So the examples you've given is you've given the example of a prophet and another prophet, but you've got this generation that you've missed out. What we're saying is that the whole point of
I didn't miss out nothing.
Yeah, it's because you said Enoch was a prophet.
Because I didn't get to start from even. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With the authority, it shows it even in the Quran itself.
Yeah.
Because there is a family in itself that again
family
is in there.
Quran?
Yeah, a whole family. It's in the Quran, but yet is of the whole Testament.
Is it family or are you talking lineage?
Whole family.
Lineage or family?
They're both the same. Lineage and family is the same thing.
Not necessarily. Because,
show me why.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. And you're going to agree with me as well. Lineage goes from the father. Am I wrong?
Still a part of your family, yeah?
Yeah. But the lineage goes with the father, isn't it?
Regardless of the family.
So the mother is not part of the lineage. Agreed?
Of course it is a part. It's a part of your blood. You can't take out your mother's blood and say, okay, no. If you don't, that's what I'm saying, based on the information that a person said, if you don't want to honor your mother, then that's fair enough. But your mother is still a part of your lineage. You can't take that away. That's impossible.
You're confusing two.
No,
one is genealogy and lineage in terms of their definition. Mm-hmm. One is family in terms of the definition. What you're saying fits in with the definition of family, doesn't fit in with the definition of genealogy.
You want to look up genealogy, yeah? But it's going to still be generation of family.
But your point is wives are included, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's based on the information. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it's based on so if you're living in a community, in a normal standard society, right, and you want to find out
No problem. Show me.
Yeah.
Where it says wife is part of the genealogy.
Not your mother. You say mother, not mother. Yeah.
No, wife.
I'm just talking about mother. No?
Okay, mother. Okay, look up mother. No problem.
Yeah. Go on,
Look up
go on,
mother.
go on.
Whatever makes you happy.
So while we're speaking, so in a normal community and normal society,
Yeah.
you know, when a mother gives birth, it's recorded. The mother has choice to record her name. That's because obviously keeping a lineage of the generation. You have to know where you come from.
Yeah, look, we're confusing two things again.
I'm not sure.
If you're thinking about modern day times, yes, a mother has her own lineage, the lineage of the mother.
It's still part of the construct. It's not just modern day.
Traditionally, what I'm saying, traditionally, that's not the case. Traditionally, yeah.
Where though? Where? What
Traditionally,
tradition?
we talk about from the time of Abraham
What
onwards.
tradition? Because like I'm saying, in my tradition, yeah, we could still identify the mother. So I'm trying to say, so it depends on the information on the community. So I have a community that upholds the mother and the father. You may have a community that only upholds the father.
And when you've got both people within the community, will you have the grandfather and the grandmother, everyone in that tree? Yeah.
Yeah, the whole tree. Yeah, you can't miss out one branch.
Okay, but then you have to bear in mind that also the two trees are going to go in two totally different directions. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, but you still could identify where you come from because it has a base.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that if you go from Jesus all the way to Abraham,
Yeah, but you're going from a male point of the tree, but there's still the whole female point of the tree as well. You could, if you're looking at it from a perspective to say I'm looking at only the male part, then obviously you could bring that up. But if you say you're looking at the whole part, then you're gonna have to acknowledge the mother and the father. No?
that's fine. I think this is a side point anyway. So coming back to the
Let me just get the term. Because that's why behavior break down. If you're only looking at a point of view, you know, if we look at the whole of it, you will have a better understanding of how to behave. But it's just based on the information that
but
given.
the whole
So,
point.
So genealogy, a line of descendant traced continuously from an ancestor. You could read it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agreed with that. But what I'm saying is traditionally, it was from the males. It wasn't from the females.
That's what I'm saying. From another community's point of view. So I'm saying in my community, I agree with you from where you're coming from. I'm saying in my community we trace both. We acknowledge it. That's why I said there's a part that said honor your mother and father. So your days could be longer.
Right.
You understand? So
So you're saying behavior gets passed on textually, or you're saying verbally?
Textually and verbally.
Okay, textually you've already admitted that the New Testament has mistakes and is not 100%, yeah? Okay, we've agreed on that. You also agreed upon the fact that you don't have a chain of narration that can give you the details and the criteria that I did. For example...
No, there is. That's what I'm saying. You have the normal society today. In society, you just look in society and you could go look, just like I give you. You have the churches, you have the parish. Look, I was born in a parish, right?
Yeah.
I was born in a parish. And this parish has been around forever. It's been around from the time of Muhammad, the time of Jesus, the time of Abraham. It's a parish. So all of that behavior that takes place in that parish is still going on in that parish to this day. It has priests, you know what I'm saying? They still old customs, they still do all of that. So it's like, I'm telling you.
You're talking about traditions.
Yeah, traditions
of the...
It doesn't change. So the information that one gets about someone else's tradition is just based on the information, but the behavior you have to go to that place to know it for truly, because they're trying to interpret something that is not
interesting.
Interpreted.
So you're saying go there.
The computer.
Yeah. So you're saying go there.
That's why. Yeah. That's why it's a part of your behavior. That's why.
What I'm saying is that's not practical.
Why not practical?
Yeah, because if a religion has come for everybody, it's not always practical for somebody to constantly travel to get certain verifications. Yeah, that's the first point. The second point that I was talking about, chains. Yeah. Now, when you actually look at textual criticism, I can quote you books. I can give you evidence. Yeah. Siyar al-Nubala of Imam Dhahabi. We've got the compilation of Imam Bukhari, where he's got all the commentators. But Christianity doesn't have anything like that. The most you can say is, oh, you can go to such and such place, and then you can check that and you can do this, but there's nothing that it forms or that it presents in terms of academic literature, that there is a science that you can open up and say, that chain, that person in the chain, this is their memory, that's their tribe, that's who they studied with.
Of course they can.
Not a single Christian till today has made that claim.
That's why, as I'm saying, it's based on the information, that part of the culture or part of the religion that you have observed. But that's why there is different form of section in society that you might need to, go and do that practical effort yourself.